I've got the dial mounted back on the movement. It just sits on top of the movement and has two little feet on the back of it that stick down into holes on top of the movement. And then it's held in place. It's held in place by two screws on the edge of the movement. And there's one of them there. And the other one is, okay, there's the other one. It's more deeply recessed. So those two screws basically are grub screws that stick into the side of the movement. And they stick into those holes that the dial feet go into and push up against the dial feet to hold it in place. So now our next order of business is going to be to set the hands, and then we can put it back in the case. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to set this back into the back part of the case and use that, and then put the hands on it while it's mounted in there. Mounting this back in the case back is pretty simple. Here's the case back, and the movement just sits down into it and snaps into place. And you can see there is a cutout there on one side for the stem to go through. So let's take the movement and set it down in there. Pick that up to make sure everything aligned correctly before I snap it in. Oh, there we go. Now it's snapped in where it should be. Mounting the hands is one of the trickiest things to do. When you put the hands on this watch, the hour hand goes on first, and then the minute hand goes on top of it. And the hour hand has to be it has to be pointing exactly at one of the hour markers on the watch face. Doesn't matter which of the hour markers you choose, but it must be pointing exactly at one of them. And then when we put on the minute hand needs to be pointing exactly at the 12 o'clock position. If you don't have these set up like that, the watch won't indicate properly. So if, for example, the minute hand was pointing at the 10-minute mark while the hour hand was pointing directly at an hour, when the minute hand was up at the 12, the hour hand wouldn't point exactly at the correct hour. So it's important that they be aligned like that. Then the second hand on this watch has small seconds, so it has a second little dial for the second hand right there, and then there's a little pin that sticks up that the second hand goes on. And when we put the second hand on, it must point exactly at the 12 position, the 0 position on the second hand, when the hour hand is pointing at one of the hours and the minute hand is pointing directly at the 12. That ensures that when the second hand comes all the way up to the top, the minute hand is pointing exactly at one of the minutes and not in between 2 minutes. So everything is correctly aligned to tell time accurately. And the way we do this, I position the hands with a pair of tweezers, and then we use a hand pushing tool, which is a hollow. It's a handle with a hollow point on it that has a hole that allows the spindle to stick through it. That has that pushes down on the rim of the hand. So I'm going to go ahead and put on the minute hand now. I've got all 3 hands installed, and they're pretty well aligned. They're not absolutely 100% perfect, but this is my very first watch service, and it's close enough that nobody would notice on a watch this small. So I'm going to leave it as is. So it's ready to put into the case. The first thing I need to do now, though, is I need to clean the inside of the case, because the inside of the watch case, the crystal's dirty. It's got some dust in it, so I'm going to clean the inside of that out. And then I'm going to clean the dial, make sure that there's no dust or anything on it, because I just pulled some lint off of it a minute ago. And once I've got everything cleaned, then I can just, this basically just snaps down on top of the case back that contains the movement and the dial, and it snaps together, so then we'll be all done. The way I'm cleaning the case is I've got these cotton swabs I'm using, and I put a little bit of alcohol on one of them and smeared around the inside of the crystal, and then I used clean ones then to, it's kind of hard to see in here, the light's not very good, but to basically dry it back off. And the cotton swabs I'm using here are different than the ones that most people are used to using. These aren't Q-tips. Q-tips leave a lot of lint behind, and they have a real rounded tip, which is hard to get into small spaces like this inside this watch case. These kind have this one's a little bit beaten down from being used, but they have a sharply pointed tip, and they're called nail tees. They were recommended by another watchmaker, and they sell them on Amazon. And these are really great for this. I think they're actually used by people who do fingernail decorating to clean people's fingernails and such, because they're good for reaching underneath your fingernails to clean dirt out of them. But for us, these are great for watchmaking because they let you get into real small crevices and clean things out. After I finished cleaning the inside of the crystal, I then used some canned air to blow the dust out of the inside of it and made sure it was nice and clean. And as I said, this just snaps back together. We take the back side, and it goes in. Make sure you have the cutout in the case on the same side as the stem, and you just drop it in just like that. Should snap together when I push it here, but I'm trying not to push too hard so I don't break something. There we go. You hear it snap there. Now it's ready to be wound up and ready to use. Now, before I put this together too, I also regulated the movement because it was when we put it on the time grapher before, it was running too fast. This movement has a lot of beat error. Right now, it's got about 3 milliseconds of beat error. And the problem is these older movements are very difficult to adjust for beat error. They don't have the hairspring stud on a movable lever that you can turn to adjust the beat error like you can in a modern watch. On these, in order to adjust for beat error, you have to take the balance wheel and hairspring out of the movement and turn the collet that holds the end of the hairspring to the balance staff. And that's something that's a little bit beyond my skills at this point, so I'm not going to mess with that right now. Later on, I'll revisit that because I'm going to have to buy a special tool to do that with. And that's something that if you don't do it right, you risk damaging the hairspring. So I don't want to take that risk right now when I'm just a beginner with this watch that belonged to my grandfather. That's something I'm going to come back to later on. I've got it regulated to where it's running about 5 seconds a day fast, which is very, very good. So I'm not going to worry too much about the beat error, given that it's actually running pretty accurately. I finished winding it up here, and then we can set it to the correct time. And I had the mainspring totally unwound so that I could set the hands, because you don't want to set the hands while it's moving, so it's going to take a little time to finish winding it all the way. Oh, there we go. Now it's fully wound. Everything's running and working as it should right now, so I think I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I'd like to be able to fix the beat error later, and that's something I'm going to do when I get a little bit more practice and once I get the special tools that are used for it. But I think my grandpa would be proud to see this, what I've done with this now. I've got it running where it's running pretty accurately, and I can wear it now.